Hey, what is going on, guys? I'm Silver the Beast, and I'm back here to bring another video today. In this video, I'm bringing another video today. In this video, I'm doing a commentary, and what am I talking about? Sorry, I've got to redo this. Hey, what is going on, guys? I'm Silver the Beast, and I'm back here to bring another video today. In this video, I'm going to be bringing you a commentary about what I think makes an enemy hard in Infinity Blade. Now, a lot of people have given their opinions to me about this, and I don't want to put my opinions out there just so they're out there. What makes an enemy difficult? A lot of people think that Rith is the toughest enemy in the game, sheerly because of his power. He can kill in one hit unless you put a ton of points in health. And obviously, if you watch me at all, I don't do that. I put every single point I have into attack. And he also takes many hits to kill because he has a lot of health points. For my Rith, he's about 3.5 million health points. So yeah, Rith is very powerful in that sense. But, you know, if you look at Rith and you look at his moves, I don't really find him that difficult because his moves really aren't that hard. Every single move he does besides step backs, well, I mean, almost every single move he does besides step backs are parryable. And, I mean, that's obviously an advantage that you have against Rith. His step backs are not that hard. They're all really easy. They're all easily cracked. And I mean, they're just not hard at all. He's just not confusing. He's predictive. He's predictable in my opinion. And I just think that he's not that tough of an enemy. And I mean, a lot of people say he is, like I said before, because of his power. But I mean, if you really look at his moves, if you have read his moves and you know how to predict him, he's very, very easy. And that's why I think there are a couple other enemies that are much, much harder than Rith. They're not even bosses. I mean, the God King, he's a mixture of health and moves. He's got more health than normal enemy, obviously, he's a boss. But, his moves are not that difficult. He does have the God King 360, although, if you didn't know, I think the God King 360 step back, if you don't know what a step back is, the enemy literally steps back and does a complicated maneuver. The God King 360 is one of the famous step backs, although if you know me and you watch my videos, you'll know that I do think that the 360 is overrated. I just don't think it's that tough of a step back. I think it's definitely harder than average, but I think there's a couple step backs that are much harder than that, such as the Wood Jester downward right step back. I covered that in my Wood Jester 5-to-1. I mean, I just think there's harder step backs than the God King 360. It is a more difficult than normal step back, but I think there's ones that are tougher than it. Now, so which enemies do I think are the toughest? Like I said before, the moves make the enemy tough, not the health or the attack that they have. The moves of the Wood Jester are very, very tough in my opinion. He is the toughest enemy in Infinity Blade 2, just in my opinion. Just because, I mean, he's not predictable. I mean, you can predict him to an extent, but not too much. And he has all those leg kicks, side swipes, everything. I just think he's a confusing enemy. And then you throw his step backs on top of it. While two of his step backs aren't too difficult, I think they're harder than normal. His third step back is, in my opinion, the hardest step back in the game. So I think the Wood Jester is the toughest enemy in the game. I'd say that the MX Stealth is second toughest because he's basically a Wood Jester without the tough step backs. His step backs are pretty easy. So I think that the MX Stealth is second to the Wood Jester. But yeah, so Wood Jester and MX Stealth are the toughest enemies in my opinion in Infinity Blade 2. Rith, I mean, really, he doesn't compare because it's just his health that's tough. If you really want to see how tough an enemy is, put him on a 5-to-1. That way, you can see all his moves. You can see all his step backs. Everything he has to offer, it will be thrown at you in that 5-to-1. And that's the whole purpose of a 5-to-1, to test out an enemy. Now, so yeah, if you put the Wood Jester and Rith on a 5-to-1, the difference is very, very clear. The Wood Jester is much tougher than Rith if you put them both on a 5-to-1, because if you do that, everything's equal. It's just their moves and you against them. It's a longer fight than normal, and it'll just, everything the enemy can throw at you will be thrown at you in that fight. So yeah, so just if you want to find out the difficulty, and put them on a 5-to-1. Now, I have done that. I've done a 5-to-1 on Rith, I've done a 5-to-1 on the Wood Jester, and I can tell you honestly that the Wood Jester is a much more difficult enemy than Rith. I mean, there's a couple other difficult enemies. The staff enemies, everybody says they're difficult. I don't think they're that difficult. So to me, the dual enemies are the toughest, just because they're confusing to me, and they have difficult moves. Just in my opinion, a lot of people think the staff enemies are the hardest. I personally find the dual enemies, but I don't think that Rith is the toughest enemy in Infinity Blade 2 by any means. I mean, people just find him tough because they don't study his moves, they don't learn how to predict him, and they don't learn his step backs. Once you learn the step backs of every enemy and every move, none of them will be that difficult to you. Well, I guess some still will be, because they're not that easy to predict. But once you learn the step backs and moves of every enemy, Rith will be really easy to you, and you'll find that there's a lot of other enemies that are much more difficult than him. So, in conclusion, what do I think makes an enemy tough? It is not health, it is not their attack. What makes an enemy tough is I mean, well, by health and attack, I mean it's not their level that defines difficulty. When I say an enemy is tough, I mean their moves are confusing, they are a good fighter, and they are not predictable, their step backs are hard, just stuff like that. Not their level, but their moves. So that's basically what I think makes an enemy tough in Infinity Blade 2. Leave a comment down below expressing your opinions on the subject, I love to hear them. But anyways, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. So that's it for this one, guys. I'm Silver's Beast, and I'm out.